Hello, you out there in YouTube land. This is Translator10, and I'm back with another action figure type thingy review. Now, I say type thingy because it's not really an action figure that I hold in my hands. As you can see, it's too small to be an action figure. Now, it could be maybe a figure from one of the DC animated or maybe movies, or maybe a PVC figure. But I can tell you right now, that's not what this is. Now, before I go on, let me give you a little backstory. In the year 1999, Star Wars fans were given a brand new gimmick. Hasbro was releasing their figures with these little chips with little display bases with little chips inside, called the Commtech chips. It was supposed to be a brand new, innovative design where the figures now talked, without actually having a speaker box or some huge backpack strapped to the figure. Some great examples of these would be the talking X-Men figures from Toy Biz and the Marvel superheroes, where they had those ridiculous backpacks. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the talking figures, where you slide the strips through. So this was a brand new, innovative design. Now what you did was you bought this ridiculous, huge reader. You put the chip on the reader, you press the button, and the chip spoke. The problem was the initial chips didn't work right. They had the worst acting you've ever had, and they were not by the original actors. So Hasbro either did not have access to the original source materials from Lucasfilm, because everything about Episode 1 was kept locked down. A lot of the Anakin Skywalker chips, though, I think they actually used the original voice actor of Jake Lloyd. Why? Who knows, but they actually did. And maybe Jar Jar Binks, just because he had this distinctive voice pattern. But I think everyone else, especially the human actors, had completely different actors. And these are just in my memory. I can't find the chips, and my reader's broken, so I had to get another reader. But other than that, yeah, these chips were pretty bad. Now, the Episode 1 figure sold like crazy, so Hasbro continued on with their Power of the Force 2 line with these chips as well. The problem is, people didn't like the chips. Once the Episode 1 figures started coming out, and people were, trying out the gimmicks if they were opening up the packages, they didn't like the gimmick. I mean, it was pretty cool, figures talk for the first time, but they didn't really like the gimmick. So when the Power of the Force 2 line came around, they actually used the original Star Wars dialogue. But since people didn't like the chips, only select characters sold very well, and others like Luke Skywalker and Jawa with Gonk Droid and Greedo were pretty much, and Darth Vader especially. I remember Darth Vader being a very big peg warmer. The only ones I remember really selling were Stormtrooper and Han Solo, because those were the only ones I was looking forward for a long time. So by the time that the second wave came out, it was time to cancel Power of the Force 2 and make way for Power of the Jedi. There was one figure slated for release as a Power of the Force 2 figure, and that was Chewbacca with the Dejarik table. I apologize if I mispronounced that. That would later see release in the Power of the Jedi, but since it was shown on the Power of the Force 2 card backs, a lot of people were wondering if it was going to have the chip. Of course it didn't, since it was released in Power of the Jedi and had those crazy stat cards. It did not have the chip. So for years people were wondering, well, what happened to the chip? Was it actually made? Well, yes, it was. So I have in my hands, possibly the first time ever revealed on YouTube, possibly, the original Commtech chip for Chewbacca. It is an official Star Wars canon release. It even has a little crazy little medallion symbol right there at the bottom. It's got the Star Wars brand right here. I mean, if this is a knockoff, it's a really, really good knockoff. And this chip, wow. I mean, this has got to be anything. This has got to be official. There's no way this could be anything else. Also, as you've noticed, it also has the C10 right here. I don't know if you can see that. Figure number C10. That would mean that this would have been the 10th and possibly final release of the Commtech chip line. Now, does the chip work? I don't know. I just got it in the mail and my Commtech reader's broken, so I can't really check it out. But I expect it's more than anything else. It's a great little chip, and as you can see, it's completely different from the original Episode 1 chips. I wish I had one to compare, but I've lost the chips as well. I thought they were in the same box with the reader, but they're not. So, I don't know what happened to them. Keep on the lookout for those. But yeah, there is the Chewbacca Commtech chip. Now, since this is an official, Hasbro whatever, there's a lot of people that are speculating just how far into production these chips got. Well, I can expect that maybe a couple thousand of them were made before the time was, before it was decided to cancel the Commtech chip in general, because, Hasbro was going on with something else. So I'm guessing whatever was made was to be destroyed. And thankfully, some factory hands decided to keep some for themselves, because that's obviously how it was supposed to go down. They don't just save things, they destroy them. Usually on order from Hasbro. But every once in a while you'll have something that comes up, like a lot of your the previous big one that you would see would be like Transformers. A lot of times you'll see Transformers prototypes and test shots and packaged samples from eBay auctions in, let's say, Hong Kong that are basically, I guess you could say they're stolen from the factory. They're lifted and then they're sold on eBay to make a profit really early, because people are going to buy these up and then they're going to review on YouTube, and then they're going to make a profit because of all the clicks they get. That's usually how it goes. Tea. So that's really much all I can really say about this. These are really rare, and only from time to time these chips ever really surface on eBay or like any collector's site. So it's really rare to really see one of these. There may be another. I think what the seller I bought this from had another chip available, and that's it. I don't think there's any more of these available whatsoever. So those of you watching this and you really want this chip, if it's still there, snatch it up. I mean, it's a little expensive. I mean, it was like $15 plus like $10 of shipping and customs and whatever. But to me, it was worth it. I can't wait to buy a Power of the Jedi Chewbacca Dejarik table and just, now our Chewbacca Commtech collection will finally be complete. I mean, this is almost as up there as, I wouldn't say as rare as, let's say, Nintendo video game championships, where no collection is really complete without this. But it is pretty rare. So, yeah, that's it. So, that's all I really have to say about the chips. I was really fortunate to get one of these. You can be too, if you can find them, with of course, not an outrageous price. It was a little outrageous, but for something that doesn't surface very too often, I couldn't help myself. So, look for a review with this chip in action in the future. Until then, this is Transato1L, signing off.